Hey everybody, this is Leslie from Go. Some weird little thing happened. Oh my gosh. Turn the camera around. Hello. Hi everybody, welcome, welcome. So if you are joining me on Facebook, this is my first live broadcast from GoToKitchens.com here on Facebook. So thank you so much for joining me. I'm so happy to have you here. You can actually comment below, right down below. You can comment live while I'm broadcasting. I'll be happy to answer all of your questions as we go along. So over here on Periscope, hello everybody. It's good to see you. Thanks for being here with me today. Thank you guys for inviting followers and seeing you all here and seeing your lovely faces on this beautiful Monday morning, Monday afternoon. It's Monday afternoon. Hi everybody, welcome. So today we were supposed to be at Red Hen Farms and we are not. They actually kind of chickened out, for lack of a better word, for us coming and doing a live broadcast there on the farm. So that's all said and done. We're not doing that, but we are here today and we are going to continue our broadcast. And today we are actually going to talk about sun exposure. And so last week during my broadcast, I think probably more than once, I know, right? I think more than once that I said it would be really great, you know, we need to talk about, that's a whole different scope when we talk about sun exposure. I talked about it briefly in the broadcast about different types of foods that are anti-aging, that sort of thing. So we're going to talk about that actually. So if you'll hang with me, I will actually address your question. So we are broadcasting, we're dual broadcasting right now on Facebook Live at GoToKitchens and here on Periscope at GoToKitchens as well. So let's talk about the different types of sun exposure. Hey Sharon, it's good to see you. Thanks for being here. So no, I'm not still in Texas. I'm actually home. We got home yesterday and we were supposed to be at Red Hen Farms, but we're not, so that's all right. Yes. All right, so let's talk about the different types of sun exposure and what it does for our body. Now, when we talk about it today, we're going to talk primarily about the vitamin D that occurs in the body when you are exposed to sun. So, hey Sharon, thanks for being here. Yay, go Leslie, go Leslie. So yes, so we're going to talk about those things today. We're going to talk about all kinds of things. So first, before I get further into this, let me introduce myself. My name is Leslie. I am the founder of GoToKitchens.com. I am available on all social media at GoToKitchens, and my website is, you guessed it, GoToKitchens.com. Now, GoToKitchens.com is actually a health and wellness-based website, but it's full of amazing recipes. It is full of ideas and tips for your kitchen. We are actually launching a new class called Kitchenatomy, and if you're here on Facebook, you can actually scroll up after this broadcast and see the promo video for it. Kitchenatomy is a 10-step kitchen detox that we are launching. If you want more information, please send me a quick message and I will get you that information. So let's continue on and talk about sun. So what do we know about the sun? What do we know about the sun and how it affects us, what it does to us? And so I think that this is so important because one of the main fundamentals of the sun and our planet is that you absolutely have to have sun to grow everything. In order for everything to grow, you have to have sunlight. Now, a lot of you are going to say, well, what about all those creatures that live in the caves? And what about all those creatures that grow and don't have light? And what about the creatures that live in the deep oceans that don't have any, you know, the plankton? They live deep, deep in the ocean a lot of times and only come up, you know, certain times of the year. What about that? What about those people? I mean, you know, those people. What about those things, right? So I have an answer for that, and that is that they need the sun. They absolutely need the sun to grow because they feed off of things that are produced by the sun. Oh my God, I know, I'm so smart, right? You're so smart. I just read a lot. So, but those things actually feed off of the sun. So they need the sun to grow. So the sun is the source of everything, right? Everything that gives us life on our planet is sourced from the energy source of the sun. It's magnificent, actually. Thank you. I do have a YouTube channel. It is Go To Kitchens, so you can go check it out over there. We absolutely need the sun. Now, when I go to think about the sun, and when I go to think about the sun and the relationship that it has with human beings, I actually go to the country of Australia to read that information. And the reason that I do that is because they are the foremost. They are absolutely forefront of knowing what UV exposure does to the human body. And so that is why I actually go and read all my research from the Australian authorities. And the reason is because they are number one. They are number one on the planet with epidemic rates of skin cancer, and especially wearing, okay, that is not the topic, so sorry. Yes. I know they are absolutely the authority there. They are number one on our planet for skin cancer, including melanoma. Their rates are an epidemic proportion. So in the 1980s, they actually had a knee-jerk reaction to this because it was just epidemic rates coming through, people with melanoma, people getting all kinds of skin cancer. Now, there are three basic types. There are more types than this, but the three basic types are the basal cell and the squamous cell, and then melanoma. Basal cell and squamous cell, and you may say it differently than I do, squamous, whatever, cell. Those are actually the types that are typically not deadly. They come up, they form on our skin, they come up in all different types of forms, actually, and then we have them treated or we take care of them or whatever. Those are typically caused because 98% of those are caused because of sun exposure. Melanoma, 95% of the melanomas that we have throughout the world are caused, I'm so sorry about that, Lori, I'm sorry to hear that, of melanoma is caused from sun exposure. But hold on just a second before you go, I knew I was right. I knew I was right for wearing sunscreen. I knew I was right. A lot of countries, including Australia, in the 1980s had a knee-jerk reaction to this. If you remember, if you're that old, and you remember, thank you, Mark. If you remember in the 1980s, there was a huge campaign. That's when it all started of, oh my God, get out of the sun. You can't be in the sun. Don't be in the sun. You're going to get melanoma. You're going to get skin cancer. You're going to get this. You're going to get that. And so we had a giant knee-jerk reaction to this. And the reason that we were seeing an uptick in this is not because of the sun, actually. It's because as humans have evolved, and we're evolving quicker and quicker, we're just evolving faster and faster and faster and faster, right? I mean, you can tell that. We in a lifetime, we can almost see the human race and the diseases that we face, happen very quickly. We're talking about epidemics of cancer and that sort of thing. What's causing that? But they can actually put their finger on what's causing it in skin cancer. And it's not the sun. I mean, it is the sun, and it is our exposure to the sun, but really what it is our lack of exposure to the sun. We started migrating indoors. We all started working indoors. I work indoors, right? Hey, Sherry, I work indoors. A lot of people work indoors, right? We all work indoors. We don't have regular exposure to the sun. Our kids do not play outside. Most of our activities that we do are all inside, and some of that has come because of the fear of the sun, right? And some of that has come because that's how we've evolved on this planet to be something different. And that's just how our work structure, a lot less people laboring in the field and, working in an office, or working, indoors in a factory or whatever. So we started to change. So what happened is not the sun's fault. It is actually our fault as the human race. There's a little bit of truth there, Marcy, for certain types of cancer, but the sun is part of the problem. But as we retract indoors and stay less outdoors, we actually are harming our natural defenses against the sun. Does that make sense? Are you with me? You're actually harming your natural defenses when you're inside all the time. Because one of the best natural defenses you have against the sun and burning and, and getting freckles and doing all of these things is exposure to the sun. So this is where the problem started. So in the 1980s, I know, right? It was meant to be, Chesty, a light bulb moment. So in the 1980s, there was a knee-jerk reaction in Australia, right? I know, you need to get out more for sure. So we had a knee-jerk reaction. In the 1980s, the Australian government actually put out a campaign for less sun exposure. They actually said, we want you to stay out of the sun because it's causing skin cancer, right? And so they had the slip, slop, slap campaign. It was slip on a shirt, slop on some sunscreen, and slap on a hat. That was their campaign against skin cancer, was to avoid the sun. Now, this started a whole nother revolution of epidemics. So about 10 years ago, and I have to tell you, we are 10 years behind in our country, but about 10 years ago, the Australian government started noticing that there was a huge deficiency in vitamin D. What's causing that? Why are so many people, why is it an epidemic? Why are so many people suffering from vitamin D deficiencies? Guess what? Because we're not in the sun. Because we are so scared of the sun and what it will do to us, right? Exactly. No sun. Yep. We're inside too much. And when we go outside, we are putting on the sunscreen, we're putting on the hats, we got the long sleeves on, no sun. And so there's a huge epidemic, not only in Australia, but major, it's been recognized in our country as an epidemic. In 2000, and I have the notes here somewhere, but in 2014 or 13 or something like that, they actually said, right, light bulb moments, yep, absolutely, Linda, it leads to all kinds of things. Vitamin D deficiency is way more dangerous than the sun. I just said it right here. Vitamin D deficiency is way more dangerous than the sun. I love it, Victoria. I was reading your mind, honey. I was reading your mind. So the sun that gives us all of our life on our planet also creates a hormone in us as human beings. And what happens is we are exposed to UV rays. UVA, UVB rays create UVR rays. So UVR is the combination of UVA and UVB, right? And so there's long and short rays, and one just affects us topically, and one actually penetrates the skin. So UVA rays are actually just penetrate the skin and go below the skin surface into the epidermal layers. I can't remember all the technical terms. And the UVB is actually what's responsible for either burning us or tanning us. So that reacts, has a chemical, I know, right? Aaron, I know, they're like, ching, ching, we don't like this person, right? You had deficiencies in all 3 pregnancies. That's because your body, Heather, was creating a baby. And it was sucking up everything that it needed, right? You're creating a human life in your body, and it was sucking up everything that it needed. So yeah, absolutely. Vitamin D deficiency is very common in pregnant women. So guess I'm not going to win any awards, am I? So what happens is that when you have a chemical reaction, when the sun hits your skin, right? When the raw skin, nothing on it, no lotions, no potions, no nothing like that. When it hits, I'm sure it was depleted. It happens to a lot of women and they don't even know it. So good for you for even knowing it, actually. So, but when the sun hits your skin, you have a chemical reaction that happens, and it releases a hormone, and that hormone is actually vitamin D. Vitamin D is a protector in your body, and a lot of people will say to me, yeah, but I supplement, Leslie. I don't have to worry. I supplement. There is no proof. I read a Harvard medical study about vitamin D, right? I love that, Mark. Yeah. So yeah, get out and get your body exposed for sure. So I know, right? You haven't seen the sun in days. It's okay. That's all right. We're going to talk about that too. So, but it starts this chemical reaction of this vitamin D, and vitamin D is your protector in your body, or one of your many protectors in your body. It's a hormone that stimulates all kinds of functions in your body. And people will say to me, oh, but I supplement, I get it in my food. I have to tell you, I read 3 Harvard medical studies that said that there is no proof that vitamin D supplementation actually works the same way in the body that it works from the sun. There's no proof. Nobody's been able to prove it. So to me, that says my home run to get vitamin D is to what? Get the sun shining. Let the sun shine in. Okay. Yeah, I just sang on here on my first broadcast and also on Periscope. This should be in your brain. Let the sun shine in, right? Every time you think about it, let the sun shine in. Think about that song. If you know it, you're probably not as old as me. There is no substitute for the sun, Sharon. You're absolutely right. So you can get some in your food, but only about 10%, and only if you're eating certain foods do you get it in your diet. And you have to be eating a lot of oily fish. Yes, absolutely, Chastity. Yep. Thank you, Heather. You're sweet. But yeah, so you get tons, right? You can get tons from the sun, but you get about 10%, 10 little measly percent from foods. And that is, not as young as you. So, I do not recommend, sunblock at all. I never recommend anybody wear sunblock. Isn't that crazy town? And we'll talk about that in just a second. So, but absolutely, you can get it in some foods. The foods you get it in are oily fishes, sardines, salmon has a little bit. What's the other fish? Tuna actually has some vitamin D in it. Fortified cereals have it in it. Yeah, it does. But who wants to eat fortified cereals? That makes me nervous. We're going to talk about that too. I have a solution for you. Don't freak out. Everybody hang with me. Milk. But a lot of us are avoiding dairy, so we don't drink milk. So then we're stripping another vitamin D agent out of our lives. So, I mean, yeah, so milk has a little bit in there. And then there are some mushrooms. There are a couple of breed of mushrooms, not the ones that make you hallucinate, but there are a couple of breed of mushrooms that actually have vitamin D in it. But there are very few foods that naturally supply our bodies with vitamin D. You're hallucinating if you think that you can get all of your vitamin D in your food. It's an impossibility. You'd have to be eating like 10 pounds of sardines every day. So yes, no sunblock. I know. Everybody's going to freak out. So you tuck sunscreen all the time. Let's talk about this. So I read all these studies from Australia. They actually have a new campaign. I have to look over here to see what it's called. It's called the Sun Smart Council. So Sun Smart Council. That Australia has come up with. Here's the difference in what they're doing and what we're doing in our country. So kudos to Australia, first of all. They backed up and said, we were wrong. You need sun exposure to get vitamin D. They totally backtracked. They said, this is what we said in the 80s. This is what we're saying in the late 2000s as we evolve. This is what we need. Excuse me. So this is what we need right? I know they said we were wrong, and here's the guidelines. So they came up with all of these defining guidelines. If you have this skin color, this is how long you should be out in the sunshine. If you have, if you have this type of work environment, this is how much time you should spend out in the sun. So yeah, you've heard of this council. It's actually quite amazing. I loved reading their reports. I was so excited reading their reports. So they actually give you some guidelines, right? For this is how much sun you should get to get the maximum amount of vitamin D in your body, because their big concern is that their population was diving in vitamin D deficiency. Now our country is still, the FDA is still saying, no way, Jose. You should not get sun exposure. It causes skin cancer. That's the bottom line. But I have to tell you, the more and more I read studies, the more I'm convinced that the lack of vitamin D in the body is so much more dangerous than the risk of sun exposure. It is huge. It is absolutely huge. So you need to pay attention to it. You absolutely need to pay attention to it. So moving right along here. So what happens? I just totally said, don't wear sunscreen. And you're probably like, what? What? I know, it's true. It's true, Linda. Actually, I think it's just because it's back burner information. So it'll come up to the forefront at some point. Yeah, then they put chemicals in our sunscreen. So vitamin D, it's easier to talk about what happens if you don't get enough vitamin D in our body. So it really helps boost your immune system, and in a way that helps actually fight cancer. And I think that somebody just asked that question, by the way, on Periscope on about what does vitamin D do in the body. So it's the epidemic of vitamin D, deficiencies is actually creating juvenile diabetes in epic proportions. It is affecting your immune system when you are vitamin D deficient. In children, it actually is causing some softening of the bone tissues. So as it's called the rickets, as their bones are developing, they're not getting enough sun because their mothers are like, don't get sun, you'll get sunburned and then we'll have cancers. And, they think that they're doing the right thing, but really their children need some sun exposure, but it's causing rickets. It's causing stress fractures in adolescents. They're seeing a real big uptick in adolescents that are getting stress fractures from just doing normal kid things. And that is caused from vitamin D deficiency. In adults, heart attack, MS, and cancers out the wazoo. Literally, almost, because we're going to talk about colon cancer. Talk about cancers out the wazoo. That is colon cancer, right? So if you have a vitamin D deficiency as an adult through a long period, right? I love that. I love that. You're right there, actually, Jenny. So, but it is long periods of time with vitamin D deficiency causes you to have a 220. Now, this is per like the American Cancer Institute or something. I can't remember where I saw this study, and I didn't write it down. Dang it all. But it causes 253% better chance to get colon cancer than if you have normal vitamin D levels. In women, it is 222%. 222% if you live with a constant vitamin D deficiency. Now, I don't know about you, but that makes me want to get out in the sun because I've had breast cancer and I don't ever want it again. Of course, I've never been shy of the sun. So yes, that's what vitamin D deficiencies does in the body. And vitamin D acts as a protectant in the body. So it protects you against these kinds of things. It helps with cardiovascular. It helps with your circulation. It helps with, it actually helps with your skin, if you can believe that. In Northern Europe, where the sun exposure is low, they actually prescribe sun exposure, right? You don't want cancer, period. I agree with you, Sherry. But they actually prescribe sun exposure, artificial sun exposure for people that are suffering with depression, with people that are suffering with skin diseases, with people with autoimmune diseases. They actually prescribe artificial sun exposure for these things. And they're right, because your body needs to produce this vitamin D, and you can actually do that artificially as well. So there you go. So let's talk about ways to get vitamin D safely. Yes, you're right, Lori. Absolutely. Lori says over here on Periscope that even 10-15 minutes a day is good. Right. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, non-toxic sun exposure is really important. So your best defense against sun exposure and damaging your skin against sun exposure is number one, your diet. I think Jenny just said that about having a good diet has helped her from getting sunburn. And I absolutely agree with that. If you're eating a diet high in antioxidants, those free radicals, even from the sun exposure, really don't have a chance in the body. So if you're eating properly and not eating junk, you actually have a better defense against the sun. My friend Dana from Whole Health Dana, we were just having a discussion about, yes, absolutely. Yeah. So we were just having a discussion. She just spent a month in Hawaii, lucky dog, but she just spent a month in Hawaii, and she, she said, I have never tanned my entire life, and I'm so tan. And we started talking about it and doing some research about what happened, because she has dramatically changed her diet over the past few years. And we started talking about it. We started doing research on some antioxidants and what they do in the body and everything. And she really minimized her sun exposure and the damage that was caused by the sun, or could be caused by the sun, by eating a diet high in antioxidants. So she got tons of vitamin D. Her, everything, immune system's going to run perfectly perfect through something like that. So that is absolutely an amazing story that I tell a lot of people that sorry about that. That's Edison. Hi, Edison. That I tell people about, and I believe it, because I eat a diet super high in antioxidant, and I don't, Arlo, pizza delivery, no, tree trimmer, actually. It's a tree trimmer out there working on my trees. So, but yes, absolutely. Here's the other thing that I want you to consider: exposure over time. Now, if you are fair complected, you actually build vitamin D faster than someone who is not. So I am not fair complected. You can't tell in these periscopes, but I actually have a pretty decent tan. And I do that on purpose. I'm tan on purpose, even if it's not cool. I'm tan on purpose. So, and I let my face and my hands, I'm 46 years old almost. And I mean, this is a person that's been tanning regularly, right? And even without my makeup, I wear very little makeup. So yes, yes. Right? I know. I love that, Marcy. Yeah. Natural plant protection. Phytochemicals. We talked about phytochemicals last week. Phytochemicals actually help with this. But so exposing yourself over time. So if you are fair complected, you actually can be outside, right, for less time than somebody who is me. So I probably need 20, this is what the Sun Council came up with. I probably need 25 to 30 minutes full afternoon sun exposure to get the same amount that somebody who is less dark than me or fair complected than me needs. They probably need 5 or 10 minutes to get that vitamin D level. So really, you can't just throw a blanket over the whole thing and say, everybody get 15, 20 minutes, because that may not be enough for me, 3 to 4 times a week. That actually may not be enough for me, and it may be too much for you. So you need to go by the color of your skin. And this includes African American. This includes darker races that have darker skin colors, right? This actually includes them. You actually need longer exposure to make vitamin D than I would even. So it's all based on what type of skin you actually have. Now, this is the best way to protect yourself against the sun. I'm not talking about getting tan. If you say to me, Leslie, yeah, I know, right? Absolutely. So if you say to me, Leslie, I am, I can't remember what I was going to say there. Hold on. I have a thought there that was really good. I am fair complected, and how much sun exposure do I need? I would tell you that you need probably 5 to 10 minutes, 3 to 4 times a week on your, on your arms, on your face, your chest. If you're not getting your face, your chest, and your legs. Now, I know that it's cold outside sometimes. Now, this means that when it's sunny out, you go out, right? You look like Casper, right? Right? Natural fake tanner. That's right. So, but absolutely exposing yourself to the sun. That sounds bad. Poor sun. All these people are going to be exposing themselves. But actually exposing your skin to the sun will build vitamin D faster in your body than anything else. It will also help you start to have a protection, right? So if you say to me, Leslie, I never tan. Even if I stayed in the sun, every day, 10, 15 minutes, I would never tan. That's okay. We are not looking for tan. What we're looking for is not burnt. That's what we're looking for. This is where the danger comes in. This is where it gets dangerous, is when you burn. When you start to burn, you actually, if you've ever burned and peeled, you are actually damaging the DNA in your skin. And that's what starts to cause, not long-term exposure to the sun, but that's what starts to cause the damage, right? You cannot be in the sun. You should try being in the sun short amounts of time and build up your natural tolerance. You have lupus. Okay, that's something completely different. Yeah, your skin is going to be a little bit different. Me too. I've burned so many times. So many times. I can probably count on two hands the number of times that I burned severely enough to peel. But yes, you have to be super careful about that. So, but you should be considering, and you should talk to a naturopath, even with your lupus, to start trying to get some source of vitamin D from the sun, because your immune system, sorry guys, your immune system is being taken down, right? Your immune system is being taken down by the lupus, and the sun actually can help that. Morning sun is better, absolutely. Yep. Iodine and baby oil. Oh my goodness. No, I never did baby oil. So, yep. You know, the best thing that you can do for yourself, Harlow, Harlow's asking, she's burned many times in her life, what she can do about it you know, as we get older. And that is eat a diet and keep your, yeah, he's barking at the dog in the car. Sorry, guys.
No.
Yeah, I don't know enough about lupus, Charlie, so I have no idea actually about that. So I haven't researched anything about lupus. I'm just assuming that it's an autoimmune, which means that it is, yeah, he is, absolutely. Yeah, that it is something that is affected by the immune system. So, yeah. Victoria. So, yes. And you know what? This is the thing about this whole discussion. Any discussion that I ever have with you guys, there is no black and white. We are not black and white, right? We don't live in a black and white middle world. We live in a very colorful world. And so you need to live in that colorful middle and use your noggin. If sun isn't right for you, don't get sun. If you have a disease that says I can't have sun, then you shouldn't get sun. I used to have a neighbor down the way that had a skin condition that if she was in the sun for 3 minutes, she would be sick. So, I mean, so she had to be very careful, but that is an extraordinary circumstance. We are talking about something that is for the masses, right? We're talking about trying to get everybody to understand that sun exposure is actually good for you and not bad for you. So, right? Yeah, absolutely. The medications we do take tear down our immune system, right? So high in antioxidants, Harlow, that's going to be your key there. Getting foods that are high in antioxidants for sure. For sure. I can't believe Facebook hasn't kicked me off yet. So that is my number 2 tip, is absolutely expose yourself to the sun and build up yes, blueberries for sure. All kinds of berries, any kinds of vegetables, green, orange, yellow, all types of antioxidants and all kinds of foods. Yep, eating the rainbow. So build up a natural tolerance. And then my last thing that I want to say is that so diet and gentle exposure over time, you know, building up your tolerance, building up a natural sunscreen to the sun, right? I can be out in the sun for hours and I don't burn. Even in Mexico, I was out in the sun for hours and I don't burn. I have a natural protective system in my body that says, you know, you're not going to burn. We're not going to degrade the skin like that. So yes, absolutely. And then number 3 is if you are using sunscreen, a lot of our makeups and lotions and hair products even are coming with sunscreen in them nowadays, and I just want you to be super careful about that. Sunscreens are actually toxic. Just regular sunscreens that you buy over the counter, they are actually very toxic, and you're putting heavy metals on your body that are soaking into your skin, and your immune system is having to fight those heavy metals, and it's causing havoc. It's wreaking havoc in your body, and so it messes with your endocrine system. It messes with your vital organs. It is messing with your skin. The more sunscreen that you put on, the less natural protection you have from the sun, the faster you're going to burn and the less vitamin D you're going to have. And so it's very, very important. I'm not saying go outside and get burnt. That is not what I'm saying. In fact, I'm saying not to do that. That is dangerous. Let's just get that crystal clear. But getting some exposure every single day is so important to your vitamin D levels. We were built. We, as human beings, we were built. We were absolutely built to get this type of exposure. Our skin was made with this intention in mind. We have evolved. We have evolved to a point where it starts to be dangerous. It's not the sun's fault. It is our fault for how we live our lives, how evolution has taken its toll on where we work and how we work. We're not in the sun anymore. You know, we're in office buildings and those sorts of things. So 3 natural ways. If you have to use sunscreen, if you have lupus or some other disease that says you have to use sunscreen, I would highly recommend you find an effective natural sunscreen. And I do not have any suggestions for you because I don't use sunscreen. I don't allow it in my makeup. It's not anywhere in my house. You can't find it anywhere. There's a few things that are not allowed in my house, and sunscreen is one of them. But if it's in our makeup, it's in our hair product, it's everywhere, right? So getting some natural, full of antioxidants, absolutely. Getting some natural protection in sunscreen. There are plenty of natural products out there. Google them, find them. You guys share on the VIP page. If you have a great natural sunscreen that you have and you're watching here on Facebook, please share it with us right here so we can see what you use and we'll all go check it out. That would be awesome. I would love that. So share it in the comments right here so that we can see what you use. And then if you have any more tips or tricks, please let us know what those are for beating back the effects of the sun. I don't want you guys to get skin cancer. I don't want you to be out in the sun too long, but what I do want you to do is to up that vitamin D, because that vitamin D is way more important than the danger that they've tried to scare us with, right? You have a couple of awesome, Mark. Put them up there. We'd love to see them. Absolutely. Yes, there are some essential oils that help naturally block. I know lavender actually helps protect the skin. I don't know for how long it would do that or anything like that. Yes, pure aloe. I don't know if it would protect you, but it certainly is good for the skin. I agree. Aloe is actually very good internally as well. Don't overdo it though. You'll have the poops. But if you want to, hi, thanks for being here. If you want to lessen your chance, thank you, Mark. Mark's putting up some stuff over on Facebook, some websites to look at for natural sunscreen. So coconut oil helps a little bit. Yes, for repairing. Absolutely. So, but if you want to have a natural defense to build vitamin D and not have the effects of the sun, the negative effects, which would be overexposure, right? And causing cancers and that sort of thing. And the reason we're getting cancers is because we're not exposed at all. And then we go on vacation and we get all exposed. We're like, I'm getting a tan while I'm on vacation. And then we end up burning and peeling and all of these horrible things. Or it's a weekend. It's like, I'm going hiking. And then your sunscreen gives out on you and you don't have any natural protection. And you end up sweating off all your sunscreen, and then you get a burn, and then you get, and then your body starts degenerating the DNA and you get skin cancers. And that's what I want to help you avoid. So yes, absolutely. So tomorrow, Harlow says sometimes she feels like a free radical. You're hilarious. So tomorrow, I think, as we're talking about this subject, awesome, Julie. Way to go, Julie. 2 thumbs up. Julie's outside right now. And don't go to a tanning bed. I have my own opinions about tanning beds, but yes. I'm not going to share them here, but yes. You can, if you want to hear my opinions about tanning beds, you can private message me and I'll tell you what I think about them. They're contrary. So it does have a little bit to do with that, but only if, yeah, it is, right, Mark, for so many reasons. I love it. Yay. Yay, Rosemary. So what about water beds? Water beds are amazing. I haven't slept on a water bed in a million years. So, All right, you guys, I'm going to pop off here. Tomorrow, I think we're going to talk about sunscreens and talk about sunscreens that you're buying over the counter. So not natural sunscreens, but like you find in Walgreens or whatever. I'm going to go explore that topic this evening, and we're going to talk about that tomorrow. And I'm going to talk to you about the certain, thank you. Awesome. I love that, Rosemary. We're going to talk about the toxins that are in sunscreens and why you should avoid them. That would be a really good discussion tomorrow. So yes, absolutely. Thank you. Yes, you have a great day as well. Oh, good, Rosemary. I'll miss you live, but it'll be great to have you in replay. Bye, you guys. All right, you guys on Facebook below, I'm going to actually, over here on Facebook, I'm actually going to include the link of the study that I found. Edison's so funny. Can you hear him? I'm going to actually include the link to the study that I found in Australia. And so if you guys want to go check out on Periscope at GoToKitchens.com on Facebook, I will have that link there so you guys can see. Okay, awesome. Thanks, Mark. That you guys can see what I read today, which I just think is so fascinating, so absolutely fascinating. Yeah. So I'll put the link there and you guys can see it. So thank you guys so much for being with me. I will be on Flip the Switch in 20 minutes over on Parachute TV 1. Parachute TV 1, I will be there in 20 minutes. We are actually making a travel salad today. I traveled this weekend and I'm going to show you the salad that I take with me when I travel that helps me stay on track in the airports. It's so easy to travel with and it's amazing. So it's my favorite travel salad, and we're going to talk about what to do with it over on Flip the Switch today. So thank you guys so much for hanging with me, and have an amazing, thank you, Julie. You guys, on the road salad, that's right. So you guys have an amazing afternoon. I will see you here tomorrow, but I will also see you over on Flip the Switch. And tomorrow we're going to talk about sunscreens. It's going to be that kind of week. I told you it was surprise week. Love you too. Love you guys so much. All right, you guys, have a great day. Bye. Bye, guys. See you tomorrow. Thank you. You have an amazing day too. Go get some sun.